Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's Board of Adjustment meeting and our Planning and Zoning meeting for this evening, August 6, 2015. Our first order of business will be the Board of Adjustment agenda, and our first order of business will be a public hearing for that, which is 907 North Steinhagen, asking for a variance. Mr. Ham?
Good evening, everyone. First item we have is a pole sign variance approval request, VAR-36. Requesting a variance to allow proposed pole sign to exceed the maximum height and square footage requirements per section 425.090 for their Plaza Tire store on the property located within the C3 Highway Commercial Zoning District. On July 1st, 2015, a request for variance approval was filed with Planning and Zoning, Roads Development Company, and Plaza Tire Service Inc. requesting a variance that would allow proposed pole sign to exceed the maximum height and square footage requirements per section 425.090. I'd like to ask to make part of the public hearing record the municipal code by reference, my planning and zoning report, and the public hearing notice. And the applicant is here if you have any questions for him.
Thank you, Mr. Ham. Is there anyone who would like to speak on behalf of the sign variance tonight in the public hearing time? Step to the podium, state your name, sir.
Hello, my name is Scott Rhodes. My brother and I own Plaza Tire Service and Roads Development Company. I'm available for any questions or comments you may have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the attendance tonight to speak on behalf? Hearing none, we'll close our public hearing and open up our regular Board of Adjustment meeting, and the first order of business will be the minutes from our last meeting, July the 2nd.
I will be abstaining because I wasn't here, but I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
And I will second the motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Scott, second by Mr. Schwab to approve the minutes as submitted. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Deitch?
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Mrs. Scott?
I abstain.
Sorry about that.
Motion passes 4-0 with one abstention. So let's bring up the only thing on our agenda tonight would be the sign variance from 907 North Steinhagen. So, Mr. Rhodes is here if anyone has any questions or comments.
My first question is, well, it's not a question for him,
Oh,
but this
okay.
one's a question for Mr. Ham. This property lies outside of the overlay zone, correct?
Yes.
And the overlay zone is where the larger signs are allowed,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Because of that, there's a small parcel between the service road and their property.
Okay. I'm looking for the list of questions that we have to answer on this.
It's in the application. It's a couple pages in.
That's how I was thinking. So I think,
It's right below that.
And
There.
Mr. Rhodes has a written response to every one of the questions,
okay,
A through E,
okay.
for your
And
record too, that's in your packet.
typically, I think what we do is
Read through them.
go through those and discuss them,
Okay.
so.
You want to read?
Oh, yeah.
You want to read
You
them?
go right ahead.
The first question is, special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land structure or building involved, which are not applicable to other land structure or buildings in the same district. And Mr. Rhodes replies, the property is located in a C3 highway commercial district, but does not have the same benefit of surrounding properties because it is located less than 120 feet of the north service road.
But the district that we're talking about is the overlay district.
Yeah.
So the C3, because there are other C3 highway commercial properties that don't have the ability to put those big signs up. Everything that basically lays outside of that front lot. So Subway would be one of those. There's properties behind 47 that's commercial, like where I think Dr. Dooley is there. There's a whole section of property there that's outside that district that I think we wouldn't want these taller signs in, so I kind of have a question on that one.
And go to the next one, or you want to address that?
I mean, I'm just stating my
Okay.
opinions.
Okay. Well, the second question says literal interpretation of the provision of this chapter would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this chapter. And Mr. Rhodes says that other properties have signs greater than 20 feet which are not located on the service road or along Highway 47. The situation creates an unfair disadvantage to the applicant. That kind of goes with the same point you were just making.
Mhm.
Going by where the location is and the way it looks, I can't see any, I mean, I don't have any problem with them putting a larger sign in that particular area.
Well, yeah.
I just think that if you, he's outside what has been designated as that area. So if we say he can put one in, then we're saying Subway can put one in, the Chinese place can put one in. I just think we're opening up a whole, anything in C3 then would be allowed to have these large signs, and we have some C3 that abuts pretty closely residential. I mean, I would almost think that if we thought a sign needed to be there, we need to change the district, not allow a variance.
What size sign, how much smaller is the sign, the allowed size, can't be?
It's
20 foot high and 100 square foot.
Third question says, the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. And he says the applicant did not create the special condition or circumstance.
Well, the lot is where the lot is, so.
That's right.
That's
It's pretty
probably correct.
self-explanatory. Granting the variance request will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this chapter to owners of other land structures or buildings in the same district. He says the granting of this application will not create any special privileges because other property owners have signs greater than 20 feet in height, but not in that.
But not, they're all in the overlay
Right.
district.
And then the last question, no non-conforming use of neighboring land structures or buildings in the same district and no permitted use of land structures or buildings in other districts shall be considered grounds for the issuance of a variance. And the applicant shall be aware of any neighboring non-conforming uses.
Mayor?
This
Yeah.
is a lighted sign?
You come on up,
Yes.
sir. Mr.
24 hours?
No. We hadn't really thought about the time. Typically, we shut them off. We're not open 24 hours. So usually, when traffic starts to die off 10 o'clock or something, we shut our signs off. And then they illuminate, the next day. I guess, this is pretty critical for this site because where it lays, and wanting to have, it lays below the grade of the outer road, or 47. So it's important to have visibility. The Holiday Inn Express has a sign that's, I don't know if, it's not a parcel adjacent to 47 or the outer road. I believe Waffle House has a sign somewhere in there. I don't know if it's exactly on their parcel. And, you know, Aldi's, several of the Subway has a sign up on 47. I just actually noticed it when I was getting gas at Warrenton Oil. That's not it's not a high-rise sign, but it's not contiguous to it's not on their site. The site we're purchasing is almost like a subdivided parcel of the American Bank parcel at one time or something, I don't know. But, you know, Holiday Inn Express, is in a similar situation we are, and they have a sign.
I think that was there before the overlay district was created, is that not correct?
I believe so. It's included on the list that was prepared for the overlay district, which was, you guys were working on before I was an employee.
Right, I think that was I think that one was grandfathered in because it was already there. There were several that were grandfathered in because they were already there.
And
Because I think the height now is 50 feet, right?
yes.
Is in that district, and Hardee's, McDonald's, BP, Waffle House, Holiday Inn Express, Taco Bell, Conoco, and Jack in the Box all exceed those. And so they're grandfathered in.
And the notes that I have said the Holiday Inn sign was put in 1994. And it's 90 foot tall.
When was the overlay district created?
January of 2012, right when I first started here.
Well, I feel where they're locating their business, it's within a triangle of developed lot, you know, commercial development. Do not have residents nearby. Warrenton is looking to get businesses in where we have no other road to locate businesses on for visibility from the highway. I don't see the problem with locating a sign in this area.
I just think that if we're going to grant a variance, or that instead of granting a variance, we should just change the district. Because I really think if you don't change the district, that you're opening up every piece of C3 that is setting behind a piece that touches that, and some of those are residential areas. You would be looking at the areas like behind Fast Lane, the one before you get to the highway. There's some residences back there. There's some other areas. I just have a concern. I don't think he meets the criteria that are established, but that's why there's 5 people on the board.
Maybe we need to do both. Maybe we need to go, in my opinion, instead of doing this, to approve this, and then also go ahead and change the other, whatever we gotta do to
Or at least
rearrange
review
the
it.
other.
And at least review
Have we addressed that overlay area a little further since 2012 and looked at how far?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Nothing's come through for P&Z or the Board of Aldermen for review or approval.
Because I think Mrs. Scott brings up a good point that if you got to be careful with variances. Variances are not. This doesn't go in front of anyone else. This is a final decision tonight. It doesn't go in front of anyone else, and so you got to look out for the good of the whole community in this as well, not just this one spot, basically.
So changing where the overlay district covers, what does that entail?
It would need to come, it'd be a text amendment to our code. It would need to come through P&Z and then go through Board of Aldermen for their approval.
Because that sounds like the best option, although tonight, the variance may not be approved, but to look at the overlay as a whole, and then it would give them the opportunity to come back if expanding that would be the option that everybody agreed to. Because, yeah, if you're talking C3 and C3 is here and here and here and here, and suddenly there's 50-foot signs going up close to residential areas glowing all night long, that could cause chaos further down the road.
I mean, if I may,
Yes, sir.
you know, we are adjacent to the overlay district.
Right.
We are 120 feet from the outer road and the off-ramp. So, and we are not near a resident. And future variances do have to come in front of this board. It's not just automatic.
Exactly.
You know, I appreciate the thought of moving forward with amending the overlay district, but also time is important to us to be able to, this is one of our contingencies in our contract, and to be able to move forward, you know, this is one of those deals that's important. You know, I don't know if it's possible to do the variance tonight and then move forward with the overlay district review. That may be a win-win, allows us to move forward with our project.
Then if the overlay district isn't changed, we've got a sign outside of the district that doesn't meet the, well, it doesn't meet the, what we have to meet for a variance.
It's hard for us to visualize. So what were you saying about the lay of the land with this?
Well, if you,
Because I mean, I know what you're talking about, but
you know, coming off the, if you're on westbound 70 and you get off, we have great visibility. If you're on 47, we have none, are very minimal. So a sign is important. And from 47 to Steinhagen probably drops 20 feet.
Yeah, it does.
So that's the importance of the sign. You know, we're probably 5 foot below or Dairy Queen. It just, you know, Wendy's is at 47 and then Dairy, I mean, it just keeps dropping.
Yeah, if you're going west on 70, there as you approach the Warrenton exit, unless you're actually looking for your particular establishment,
Right.
you won't see it.
Right, and we're not huge interstate visibility people. We want the local
Sure.
traffic, and the regional traffic that visits Warrenton, that gets off, off on 70 at 47 to be visual from them. Honestly, you know, it's a tight little market here with not a lot of real estate available. And that's how we ended up down on Steinhagen. And it's not a bad site, it's just visibility's a little bit of a challenge. And we need some help.
And the green space between the service road and your parcel, there's just a green space there? What?
We're the American
It's the
Bank.
American Bank.
There's about 100, they have a very small lot, I don't know if it's 100.
can you pull that up on the, I know we have it here, but
Get to the county's website. If our internet's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very small area right there.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's,
This works for you?
yeah, picture as part of it, doesn't it?
Sure. This is Dairy Queen, this is American Bank, and that's our site.
Might be easier to pull our last ones when they came through P and
I
Z.
drove by a couple times.
Yeah, I did too, but I just couldn't figure out
It's a GIS. Yeah,
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm familiar with it because I lived over there.
Oh, yes,
Well,
you
Yeah,
did.
so this is
P&Z
site we're talking about right here.
Yeah.
There's actually,
Yeah, yeah, right
I'll
here.
pull up for the site plan, 215 border P and Z
It's-
on my
it does
Mhm.
slope
It's
down.
very rough.
Back when my kids were little, after rain, they catch frogs down there.
Can't see there, there should be a good overall. Keep going, there should be.
So just to remind everyone tonight, who will be voting on this issue will be
Yeah.
Mrs. Scott, Mr. Deach, Mr. Schwab, and Mr. Cullum, and myself, just to
Okay.
remind everyone.
Can you see this?
There you go.
Guys?
Yeah.
Here's their parcel.
Right.
Proposed Plaza Tire parcel, and here is the American Bank piece. And this is Pizza Hut and Dairy Queen.
Yeah. Wanted to put the sign down in the very corner.
I believe it's about here, isn't it, on your
Yes,
site
sir.
plan? Right about here.
Yeah.
Where's the sign located? Closer to Dairy Queen?
Right, it's,
He's got that drawn on in your
It's gonna be on the
packet.
southwest corner.
right in here.
Oh, okay.
He's got it highlighted on
Right.
on his site plan.
Yeah.
And you can actually see the corner of America Bank there, I think sort of behind that.
Didn't hear Raisy on that property at one time?
Back in the day, I think so, and they had their excavating, and I think they had a store, a Maytag store there also.
I think at one time it was a gas station too.
Hmm?
Well, it
It
could have been
sloped down
beforehand, this is, when Raisy and them had it, they had a little excavating
Not
and
blocking
a Maytag store where you could buy
Yeah.
parts.
It's visualized.
Yeah. That's what I said. You
I
got
guess-
Pizza Hut right there.
Such a little distance between it and the other.
You are down in a hole there, so to speak.
Plus they're behind other buildings, which block their view of the building themselves. If you had, signs on the building, you're behind them, so
Right.
the higher sign is necessary.
And how much taller is this sign than the, 'cause I know it's in there, because I read it.
He's proposing a 40-foot sign,
Right.
and per code it'd be 20. If he was, the overlay district can have one sign up to 50 foot. But technically, he's not in the overlay district.
Right.
He's also asking for a 160 square feet, and as opposed to 100.
100.
So he's asking for basically a variance in two directions.
How many, that's a variance of square feet for the regular C3 zoning. How many, correct?
Yes,
How many square feet's in the overlay?
I'm looking it up right now.
'Cause I think we're well under that.
150. So you're 10 feet over, 11 feet over. And in the overlay, it's shall not exceed 100 square feet for a sign at a height or less than 35 feet. It shall not exceed 150 square feet for a sign at a height of less than 50 feet to the top of the sign.
Oh, I would be willing to make a motion, so we can.
You make it, I'll second it.
Okay. As a motion needs to be made in the affirmative, I will make the motion that we approve the variance as submitted.
Second.
So we have a motion to approve it by Mrs. Scott and second by Mr. Deach. So you are voting yes if you are in favor of the sign, no if you are not in favor of the sign, so everyone understands that. Any other questions or comments from anyone? We'll take a roll call vote.
Mrs. Scott?
No.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Deach?
Yes.
Motion
Thank you very
passes
much.
4-1.
Look forward to being part of your community.
Thank you, sir.
We're glad to have another business in our
Thank you. Glad to be here soon. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Close this meeting and open up our regular planning and zoning meeting for this evening, August the 6th. We have no public hearings tonight, so we'll have the minutes, first of all, from the July 16th meeting.
Remember there was a meeting and a meeting.
Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong one.
That's the way it was too. I couldn't get it.
Hang.
Yeah, they overworked this last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second meeting that we had, because so this is the one that,
Right. Fairground Village.
I'm still not on the right thing. I need something.
so entertain a motion to,
I'll motion to approve the meeting minutes as listed.
Second.
motion by Mr. Cullum, second by Mrs. Scott, to approve the meetings as submitted. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Mr. Costello is absent. Mr. Deach?
Yes.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Kohler is absent. Mr. Dixie is absent. Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Gerloff?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 with 3 absent. And we have 3 from the Warren County Fair Association. Things tonight, the first order of business will be the Pride in Your Ride truck show, which is coming up.
Sure.
First item is a special event permit application, SCP-12, for a Pride in Your Ride truck show for August the 22nd, 2015. On July 13th, 2015, Paul Owenby, care of Warren County Fair Board, submitted a special event permit application, SCP-12, for a Pride in Your Ride truck show event to be held at the Warren County Fairgrounds on August 22nd, 2015. And in your packet, you've got his application and all his drawings. And Mr. Owenby is here tonight if you have any specific questions for him.
Well, Mr. Dickey's our fairgrounds expert, and he's laid up, so somebody will have to take over tonight. Hope he's doing well, though.
And Brandy's got an update.
Yeah, he was, he got out of ICU the day before yesterday.
Good.
So he's recovering.
Keeping Mr. Dickey in our thoughts and prayers. So,
Well, with him in our thoughts,
yes,
his safety is always his first concern.
that's exactly right.
And I don't see, on this one, I don't see any issues. The cars are pretty much just gonna be parked, car show, pretty
Right.
much, right?
Paul, can you come up to the mic?
Oh, sorry, yeah, thank you, Mr. Owenby.
John will give us the stink eye if you're not up there.
Just go ahead and state your name again for us.
Paul Longby,
Thank
Warren
you, Mr.
County Fair
Oldham.
Board President. But no, that's correct. It's just a car show is all it is for that afternoon.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Durbin, second by Mr. Deach, to approve the Pride in Your Ride truck show on August 22nd for the Warren County Fair Association. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Gerloff?
Yes.
Mr. Deach?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 with 3 absents. Next order of business will be another application by the Warren County Fair Association for the Ozark Rodeo Association Finals.
This is a special event permit application, SCP 13, for the Ozark Rodeo Association Finals, September the 11th and 12th, 2015. On July 13th, 2015, Paul O&B Care Warren County Fair Board Association submitted a special event permit application for an Ozark Rodeo Association Finals event to be held at the Warren County Fairgrounds on September 11th and 12th, 2015. In your packets is a copy of the permit application and the drawings that Mr. O&B submitted.
And this one does have, camping,
We
possibly.
we put that in there since it was changed this spring, just in case some of the participants or the rodeo people wanted to stay there on site, you know. Gotta try it out sometime, you know.
And the rodeo area is the area that's used during the fair.
Yes, ma'am. It'd be in the arena there.
I'm sure somebody's gotta watch the horses.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, since it's an option, I mean, we give them the option if they wanted to. It wouldn't be outside people, it'd be all affiliated with the organization itself. And the Ozark Rodeo Association is local, they're based out of Wright City, Missouri. It's Ben Farrow and his family, Charlie Clark, they're kind of the presidents of that, and that's why we use them at the fair. And when they approached us about having their finals, I thought it'd be fitting.
I make a motion that we approve, the, oh, I can't see what it is.
Ozark Rodeo Association.
Thank you, the Ozark Rodeo Association, request.
I second it.
Have a motion by Mrs. Scott, second by Mr. Gerloff, to approve the Warren County Fair Association request for an Ozark Rodeo Association Finals to be held on September 11th and 12th. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Gerloff?
Yes.
Mr. Deitch?
Yes.
Mr. Quillen?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. And the final application for the Warren County Fair Association will be the motocross.
This is a special event permit application, SCP 14, for motocross, September 19th, 2015. On July 13th, 2015, Paul O&B Care Warren County Fair Board submitted a special event permit application for a motocross event to be held at the Warren County Fairgrounds on September 19th, 2015. Inside your packet is a copy of his permit application and his drawings. Now the revised drawing that he turned in does show mud truck pit and a mud pit drawn in there. Due to the fact that it was turned in after the notices had already been mailed out to the residents, we would just be approving the motocross section tonight. The mud bog will actually come before you next month.
Right, when I submitted the permit initially for the motocross, we hadn't approved to try to do a mud bog on the same day. So then I updated everything with Jack, and he explained to me the other day to come in the next one, but just so you aware, I mean, we're gonna try to incorporate the motocross and a mud bog on the same day.
And the motocross was gonna be early
Yes,
in the day,
correct.
right? Then we'll
Right.
finish that, go to the mud bog.
Right, well, we don't wanna rent, the motocross has no lighting back there. We rent lighting for the week of the fair. So for this event, you know, since primarily there's gonna be no professionals, just more kids, have it done well before dark. You know, let them practice ride early in the day and then start the races around noon or so. And then they come up with the idea to do the mud bog, but not start it till like 4:30 in the evening. So that simultaneously, there will be times where the mud run and the motocross will be going on at the same time.
At this point, we're really only dealing with.
Correct.
You're only
Right.
approving the motocross.
Right.
Because I wasn't able to
Sure.
include that in my notices that went out or posted on site,
For time purposes, correct.
because it was less than 10 days.
And I know it says it here for Warren County Ambulance, but if you're talking about having two different things in two different areas of the fair, are they gonna be posted either centrally or one in each area? How's that?
Most likely there'll be one at each,
Okay.
you know, unless there's a circumstance where they have to pull a rig out to
Right.
go for a call, but Ralph and them are always real good with supplying us, you know, equipment. So right now, it doesn't seem to be a problem. Like I said, that can change with the amount of phone call too.
Okay, thank you.
And the whole motocross area is fenced?
Yes, will be. There's a permanent fence in the front and the back, and then we always go up the sides when the event goes on. We take the sides down off season so we can make it easier to mow.
Okay. And the ones that are not permanent, I'm assuming that they would hold a motorcycle in, or are spectators not allowed in those areas?
That's not, the spectators are strictly on the south side of the permanent fence along that road. That's where the only bleachers will be set up. Everything else is considered pit side for the riders and their families, stuff like that.
I move we approve the motocross special event permit application for September 19th, 2015.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Deach, second by Mr. Cullum to approve the Warren County Fair Association Motocross Special Events Permit for September 19th. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Mr. Gerloff?
Yes.
Mr. Deach?
Yes.
Mr. Cullum?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
All right,
Thank you, Ms.
thank
Shelby.
you. Would you have any questions or concerns, like when I come back next month with us trying to incorporate that mud run, that I can be prepared for, or try to get any information for you? I mean, it just, it's no different than any other event we've held out there. I mean, everything's gonna be treated the same. I just, like I said, if you need something, I'll be more than glad to bring it when I come back at that meeting.
Well, the people that are gonna be viewing this event, so traffic back and forth between the two events would not be a problem?
No, primarily, like, on your drawing here where that black mark is, would be behind the stage, but north or south of the horse arena area.
Right.
That's already fenced off to that lower bathroom. And that is the pit area for the mud bog. You know, so there's always people that wander around through there, but it's not a high risk area well, it's not what I call a high risk area anyway. But yeah, we'll give them the option, or they can walk all the way around the gravel down south or the east, either the east end road, or you could come around the far west end of the track and stay on the rock all the way back to the motocross area, which the end of the track is jersey barriered, completely enclosed, and that's, you know, a controlled area anyway when the vehicles are running. So if people are walking back and forth, when someone gets ready to go, they'll stop them before they walk through there anyway.
And you have all the safety precautions around where the trucks are gonna be and so forth? Like
Yeah.
Whether they use hay bales or whatever they use?
Right, there'll be bales at the end of the track, along with the jersey barriers set there also. We just thought if we was gonna be there for the day, we might as well, you know, for $10 for somebody to get in and see multiple events, I mean, won't be a bad deal for the public.
Anybody else have any questions or? Thank you, Mr.
All right, thank you.
We'll close the meeting and turn it over to Mr. Hemp for any updates.
Well, as you know,
Mr. Holmes will be back.
the mud bog will be on the next month's agenda. And then we're also looking at changing a section of the fence code and definitions in relation to some corner lots, site distances, to try to help that out, since we had a couple variances to get through and try to make it fair for everybody and just look at it a different way.
Okay.
That's it.
Anybody else have anything for the good of the group? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Deach, Mrs. Scott, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, have a good day.